So Wyatt's pretty hungover from drinking so much last night, so he's got his glasses on here.
Yep.
He tore it up, man.
Yeah,
Deep
drank
in
a
the
little
cup.
bit too much Sprite.
Too much Sprite. Hello neighbors, welcome to the Noya Mountain teaching channel, and we're with the amazing Wyatt Ellis here today in Knoxville. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. We had some fun picking in Kentucky last night.
We did. We burned it down. It was a fun show.
Yeah, so you've had a quite amazing ride for the last 15 years.
I have, yeah.
Yeah. You care to share a little bit about your journey through the music industry and some of the highlights and
for sure
stuff?
So the first time I heard bluegrass music was from the Osborne Brothers, and on a song we played last night called Rocky Top. Soon after that, I heard Bill Monroe, the Stanley Brothers, all the other greats, and I was hooked for good. And then I got with you and did some online lessons, and so many great mandolin players during the shutdown, and I was able to connect online and go on YouTube and just learn as much as I could. And once I was able to get out and start playing, I did that as much as I could. And then I ended up with my own band, and we've been playing around everywhere, and we've done the Grand Ole Opry a few times, and it's just been a really fun past couple of years for sure.
Yeah. What do you feel like are some of the biggest challenges of running a band and getting your music to sound like you want to?
Yeah, it's just, it's something that it definitely needs to be worked on. Like, I remember the first show we played, it wasn't that great, but the more we've played together and the more practicing we've done, it's gotten tighter. But you need to be able to just, sit down and work through things without being afraid to speak up.
Yeah. So how do you negotiate that dynamic about being nice and trying to get what you want at the same time?
Yeah, so it's kind of like you definitely want to be able to tell somebody you kind of want them to do something different, but you want to still leave them room to be creative.
Yeah, and musicians are a little sensitive.
Yes, they are.
So how do you feel like when you're trying to get someone to be like, no, don't do that, do this? Do you have a way that you go about it?
Not in particular. It just kind of depends on the moment and what you feel is right, kind of thing.
Do you go with the sandwich idea where you give them a compliment and then you say, that's good, I like what you're doing here and here, and these licks are good, or that vocal tone's good, but maybe if you did a little bit more like this, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's definitely a great idea and a great approach for sure. Yeah.
So when you're in the studio, how does all that work for you?
So the studio is a lot different than running a band that you're playing with live, because you go in with these session musicians that you may or may not have played with before, and it's kind of a toss-up. But if you know how to, if you have a good producer, if you're producing it and you just know how to go about it, it can be pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you feel like you're a perfectionist?
Oh yeah.
How do you navigate that dynamic? Because we're humans.
I've had to learn a little bit to accept mistakes a little bit more.
Sure, that's a part of the humanity.
Yeah, and I feel like once you do that, you stop making as many mistakes.
It's kind of a little bit of an ironic secret there. So when you kind of just stop worrying about making so many mistakes, you feel like you find your flow zone better.
Exactly.
That idea. Yeah. Well, how about what would you say about maybe showing us some of your favorite licks and stuff?
Sure.
Do you have a favorite lick?
Well, I know you've shown them a lot of good licks on your channel, from the slidey lick, the bounce lick, but and some of the most important fundamentals with the staggered 16th notes, like I used in Big Sandy River. Those are all important, but once I got those basics down, I was able to expand on it quite a bit. And the infinity position up the neck, and just I kind of felt like once I got in practice with those basic fundamentals, I was able to start creating my own licks more.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's a good Wyatt lick?
Oh, let's see. So You know, I love those triplet licks, you know. And then that's a good one. That's just using the, you know, if you practice your triplet scales, you can kind of start to get the feel for that, you know. And you can use it in a lot of different situations, and it translates to the same patterns you're playing. If you're playing like, if you're playing those standard types of licks in those positions, you can use the triplets out of those same positions.
Yeah. So you mentioned the P word, practice there.
Oh yeah.
I know you were a very diligent practicer. And did you go with the 3 pillars of practice for a long time?
I did, you know, with the new repertoire, the grunt work, and the and just, you know, practicing what you already know. Those are the 3 most important things, and I think the one that really helped me the most, the 2 that helped me the most for sure, were the new repertoire and the grunt work. And I really focused on those. And the grunt work, it took a while for me to get up to where I kind of wanted to be originally. But once you get there, you almost have to reset your goals a little bit, which is important to think about.
Yeah. So when we're talking about grunt work, we focused a lot on the folded scale.
Folded scale.
Getting the folded
and the skipper.
Scale up towards 200 beats a minute.
Exactly.
That took a while, right?
It did, yeah. It did. I think I finally got up to like around 200, probably close to a year ago now, 6 months ago. But that was a tough goal for sure.
Yeah. What about what's your thoughts on like playing backup? Like if I was gonna play a little Little Cabin Home on the Hill, how would you back that up?
So, to be honest, that's something that could go many different ways for different mandolin players, and you know, it's just such a stylistic thing. Like if you were to play and sing a little bit of Little Cabin Home on the Hill, which go ahead and
how about you kick it off and we'll just feel our way through it.
And yet again, there's many ways to kick it off. You could do a turnaround, you could do a full break.
That's right. These are important things to understand.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it? So do you want to do a turnaround or a full break?
Yeah, let's just do a turnaround for now.
All right. What kind of turnaround is it going to be? Like 1-5-1 or a little last line? It's the very last line of the chorus, maybe.
Exactly.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
Tonight I'm alone without you, my dear. It seems there's longing for you still. I'll just keep it there so I won't feel alone in our little cabin home on the hill. Oh, someone has taken you from me and left me here all alone. Just listen to the rain beat on my window pane in our little cabin home on the hill. I hope you are happy tonight as you go, but in my heart there's longing for you still. Well, I'll just keep it there so I won't feel alone in our little cabin home on the hill. Oh, someone has taken you from me and left me here all alone. Just listen to the rain beat on my window pane in our little cabin home So some different textures in there. What was going through your mind when you were thinking about like how to, we're just kind of flowing with the music?
Yeah, so on that song, you know, I feel like tremolo would be the best way to play backup. But on other songs, that may not be the case.
So let's dive into that a little bit. When you're thinking about tremolo, are you thinking about playing out of the chords or kind of playing a harmony to the melody?
So, you know, I'm thinking more about, you know, all your double stop shapes. Oops. all your double stops in that key. So, you know, I've even got that for the 7th, for the 4th chord. You got all these different positions. So, like, for my break, I'm playing out of that position, but on my backup, I can kind of do the same thing, you know.
So you're putting a leading tone in there from that. That was like a 1 and a 3 that you're up the neck, and you brought that back 2 frets, right?
Yeah.
So that creates like a 7th. And a passing tone in there to head to your 4 chord.
To your 4 chord, which is just, you got your kind of a G shape right here on your 10th fret of the A and 7th fret of the E. And you can back that right down into your D shape on the 9th fret of the A and the 5th fret of the E.
Now, I would call that a 35 position. I think that you learned the double stop numbering system pretty early on.
I did, but you know, I think that was really helpful. But once I kind of got more comfortable with double stops, I kind of stopped thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But you know what notes you're playing because you learned
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So when you got into the D chord, where'd you go from there?
So I probably went.
Back into your 51. That's A.
Yep. And then you got, you know,
bottom of the A chord up to your 35 there. That's like a 7th over the 5 chord down to another 7th. That's good. So these passing tones, the 7ths, I think we're feeling that's one of the keys to back up to lead the chords from one to another.
Exactly. And
so get your 7ths going.
If you get those 7ths in there, and you can play around with different things, like, you know, I was like,
yeah, what was that little flick you did there?
Yeah, so this is kind of difficult, but I got my C sharp note on the 4th fret of the A. And then I got my open E.
That's a 5.
That double stop, you know, just a standard double stop for this song. Then I've got my D shape right here. So I've got...
That's a nice sound.
So if you just play your tremolo, and you pick these fingers up and down.
It's a little bit of a fiddly thing to do. I hear a lot of fiddle players doing that.
Yeah.
Not so many mandolin pickers, but it's a nice sound on the mandolin.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then where are you going from there? The end of the D chord, I guess.
So yeah.
Again, that 7th passing tone into the 51 double stop over the 4 chord. And then a low 35. It's nice. Now, how do you think about connecting the different registers? Because you're all over the mandolin.
Yeah, so to be honest,
kind of listening for a sound.
You're just, you're listening, and you're kind of just, you're kind of following your ear in a way. So you know. So you
gotta have the sound in your head before it's gonna come out of the mouth. Is that fair to say?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good little backup lesson there. Now, what do you feel like are some of the biggest thresholds for people to get through with their journey going from like intermediate to advanced mandolin?
Yeah, so I remember when I was, you know, first learning all these techniques, and I feel like in the intermediate stage, that's what's going on a lot, is you're learning the foundations of these more advanced techniques, and I feel like the best thing you can do is to just practice them.
So playing all the time. You went to a lot of jams early on, too.
Yep, get out and play with people and experiment with these things.
Too, right?
Yes.
So, with your own style, as it continues to evolve, how do you feel about the dynamic that comes from being able to play so much, but then to be able to kind of narrow it down to what you feel like is the most tasteful?
Yeah, so I've been, you know, studying a lot of different types of music, from jazz and, you know, different types of bluegrass.
Why is something
and
jazzy
everything.
there? I know you got that in the bag.
Oh, Lord. But anyway, maybe we'll play a tune in a minute, and I can implement some of that in there.
Yeah.
But on the subject of holding back, which is something if we play that tune, I'm probably not gonna do.
You want to play real trashy just for fun?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to demonstrate what it is
trashy.
to play real trashy. You want to play a little Cabin Home on the Hill, just really nasty and trashy?
Yeah.
All right, so this is all the stuff that you could play, but you probably wouldn't.
You want to just do an instrumental version?
Sure.
Yeah. So, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
So some of that was good, and then some of that was out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And you may like that. You might prefer that.
Yeah.
But generally, you might.
If you can learn to do that, but also,
right on the melody. Yeah.
Just play right on the
So
melody.
important to know the rules so
Exactly.
you can break them with style.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about your composing a little bit. You wrote a bunch of tunes early on, and you still composing?
I am, yeah. I just write as many tunes as I can, and we wrote one the other day.
That's right.
And just kind of, tunes come out when, you start studying your hero's vocabulary a lot, and then just start noodling around. And sometimes the best tunes come about when you're not thinking about writing a tune.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks will probably know that you're really into Bill Monroe style.
I am, yeah.
Why do you like that?
Well, it's like I talked about earlier, he wasn't so worried about making a mistake as he was playing something, just perfect in his own way. Just it could be. Just really brushy like that, but it's still, in my opinion, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people think that Bill Monroe was a messy mandolin player. How do you feel about that?
Nope. Definitely not.
Why do you think people think that?
I think people think that because he was intentionally adding that dirt and that just that really cool stuff in there.
So you're saying he could have played clean if he wanted to?
And he did sometimes.
He did sometimes.
Yep.
What do you have any examples of what you feel like it was a nice, clean Monroe solo?
Oh, there's so many. You got Tennessee Blues, Old Ebenezer Scrooge, Old Dangerfield, even. But all of those tunes in that realm, even Right On, played that the other day.
Now, I hear people play Old Dangerfield, but almost no one plays it like Bill Monroe. Why do you think that is?
I think, honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
Is it because they think it's messy and they haven't seen the light yet?
Probably.
Yeah, I think there's a good analogy with Bill Monroe and the messiness with painting. So some people that really know Bill's music well, might liken Bill's playing to Van Gogh as an impressionist rather than Rembrandt or someone who painted really realistically. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yes, definitely.
So it's okay to blend some of those tones and colors just like Van Gogh would have blended all the colors to like Starry Night together. And it's intentional and it creates an impression which can be in some ways subjectively more interesting than just painting the night sky like you would see it. Yeah. So where do you feel like your mandolin journey in music's taking you?
Oh,
where do you want to go with it? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I really like to keep learning everything I can about the instrument, but you're not always going to need to use that.
Yeah.
And I've definitely found that true because if I'm playing a particular tune, I may not need to use every lick that I know, and just try to. It's kind of a good feeling when you reach a point where you have like an insane amount of stuff to play, but you don't have to use it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, we appreciate you spending time with us here. And if y'all haven't heard Happy Valley, Wyatt's new album, which has had multiple recordings on the radio, I've been some like a #1 and #2 song on the bluegrass charts a couple times. I encourage y'all to check that out because there's a plethora of wonderful picking on there with a lot of the mandolin heroes. So thanks very much to the amazing Wyatt Ellis for spending that time with us. If you enjoyed the content here, please think about giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel and getting the bell notifications. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please think about becoming a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. And a big howdy and thanks to all the folks who have been with us on there, allowing this content to get created on the regular. So we'll see you next time. Say goodbye, Kaiji.